geeks of the world, and welcome to the Will Dogs Games and Wrestling, where we talk about all things geeks. I am the Will Dog, and I am here to talk to you about something that I feel is plaguing the gaming industry. I want to talk about what's good about it and what is bad about it. And there is a lot of bad about it. And what we're talking about today is DLC and in-game purchases or in-app purchases, depending on what you're playing on. Now, let's talk about DLC first. DLC, short for downloadable content. Now, this started off back in the original Xbox and PS2 days. I didn't play on the PS2, so I don't know much about that market, but I do know on the original Xbox, games like Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, and Pandora Tomorrow, Ninja Gaiden, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, they had, Star Wars Battlefront, had a bunch of content that you could get over the internet. And I had a little modem set up to my original Xbox so I could play on Xbox Live. And a lot of this content was free. Very few things you had to pay for. I think the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic one was like $5, and it was a whole new map. I mean, in a whole new, area and missions and stuff. And $10, that was actually pretty darn good. Now today, it seems like we have DLC for everything. It seems like I buy a game and half the game is locked away. And you can tell DLC is locked away on disc because the download will be very small. Like with the Xbox 360 games, I noticed if it was in the kilobytes, that means it's already on the disc. That means you're paying for something you already own. And that is a problem. Now, who does DLC bad? First company that comes to mind for me is Capcom. Capcom is terrible with DLC. If you're from Capcom and you're listening, you need to get on this, okay? Because if you look at the Dead or Alive series, they release new costumes, new fighters, stuff that you used to be able to unlock in game, and then you download it, you pay for it. All right, hard-earned money on top of the $60 you paid for the game. And it's less than a second and it's already unlocked. You know why? Because it's already on the disc. That's a problem. Now, EA's getting pretty bad. I'm not going to talk about the Star Wars Battlefront Season Pass. Many other people have. If you don't know, look it up. I think Boogie2988 did a really good video on that because what they're doing right now is terrible. I also think to the Call of Duty series and releasing new maps for $50 for, I think it's like 8 maps. Really? Halo 2's map pack cost $30 on disc. And it had more maps than that. Come on. So, bad DLC. Who does good DLC? I think to Skyrim. Alright? Bethesda learned their lesson from Oblivion with their Horse Armor pack and how crappy it was. And they made some good DLC for Oblivion. Dragonborn was great. Good stuff. And Bethesda's also doing good stuff with Fallout 4. Automaton just came out, which looked really good. So, I think to Saints Row the Third, I like that DLC. That was good. And that was back at the beginning of the whole Season Pass thing. And back then, Season Pass, I bought into that because when it first started, they were putting out quality packs. But now you just buy the pack with the game, and it's already bundled in. You're really not saving too much money, and they're putting out crap. Look at Battlefield. I mean, come on, guys. All right, I don't want to pay $50 for a few multiplayer maps. You better give me some single player content. I'm a single player gamer. Why am I going to buy your DLC? All right, so Bethesda does a good job. Rockstar. got to give them props. Okay, with Grand Theft Auto 4, do they hit us with a bunch of DLC? Nah. No, they hit us with two expansions, both like 8-hour games, 9-hour games. I mean, not as much as GTA 4, but you didn't pay as much as GTA 4 for them. Red Dead Redemption, they did a good job with that. The Undead Nightmare, awesome DLC. You know it's awesome when it's got its own disc in the store, okay, and people are picking that up. So Rockstar does a good job. Now, some of the stuff that's coming out is pretty bad, but the thing that's even worse for me is the advent of in-game purchases. And what I mean is when you load up your game and it's got pay $2, get this many points, whatever it is, you know. It's something different in every game, but it's their little version of money. Pay $2. Okay, pay 5, pay 10, pay 20, pay 50, pay 100. 100 games in $100 in a $60 game. Are you kidding me, guys? Okay. Now there is a place this is acceptable, and that's in the free-to-play market. I play a lot of games on my iPad. I love my iPad. In fact, I'm a little embarrassed about how much I play games on my iPad. And if I buy a game and I download it for free, so I'm not really buying it, I'm downloading it for free, and they're letting me play it, and I feel it's a good game, I'll send them what I feel the game's worth, usually a couple of bucks, and get some of their in-game stuff, even if I don't want it. That way the developer's getting supported. But the problem with this is they started it in those free-to-play apps. But now I load up Assassin's Creed. I think it was Unity. I load up The Crew. I load up other games that I paid $60 for. And they want me to pay this in-game? No. If I already paid $60, I expect the full game. So that needs to stop. And I hope, I know nobody's really listening to this who can do anything about it, but I hope you're listening, because that is a problem. I feel like back in the day, I used to go to, it was EB Games back then, where I lived. I used to go to EB Games the day a game came out. I remember distinctly when Chaos Theory came out. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. So excited for the game. You know what? I didn't have to unlock new guns. I didn't have to worry about whether they had the DLC pack I wanted. I didn't have to worry about in-game purchases. The entire freaking game was on that disc. When I put it in my Xbox, it was all there. Why can't we go back to that? Oh, and by the way, it was $50 back then. All right, and I wanna explain to everybody listening why this stuff is happening, because a lot of people are doing what I just did and saying this is all a problem. But I wanna impart some wisdom on the people listening. Games are $60 right now because back when the original Xbox and the PS2 were out, they were releasing limited editions of games for $60 on top of the $50 game that you could get the normal one. Like I remember when Doom 3 came out, you could get the limited edition and get Doom 1 and 2, special bonus disc with it, a nice little steel case. I believe the Halo 2 limited edition, same thing. People were buying those. By the time 360 came out, they're like, oh, well, people pay $60. Let's just release it for $60. Now, if we take that lesson and apply it right now, we get these limited editions, and that's from Assassin's Creed 3 limited edition right there. I'm guilty. But we take these limited editions, we're paying 100, 120, 150. I saw the Titanfall one. That one was like $250. People are buying these? How long do you think it's going to be until they raise the price again? So, I'm guilty, alright? But if we want this stuff to stop, we got to stop doing that, alright? I've started buying my limited editions well after they release. unless it's something I know I'm not going to get a hold of. Example being Fallout 4. But, again, Bethesda does a great job. And they always put out a good game. Mind you, buggy, but a good game. So I don't mind throwing them my dollars. Rockstar, I'll throw them my dollars, although I don't always get their limited editions. But I have come to, like, I just got Dark Souls 2 limited edition. I bought it for $20 off of GameStop.com. Because I'm not paying full price for a limited edition anymore. Because I want the game companies to see that I'm not paying that money. And I think everybody else needs to do that too. Alright. So, take that model. And then you also look, and this is where I'm saying, and I think I have a point here. They just started putting the in-app purchases, the in-game purchases, into the full release games in the past year or two. They've been doing in-game purchases for the past 5 years. They cold tested us, and we were eating it up. Candy Crush, your little Farmville, but now it's in our AAA titles that you paid $60 for. All right, so don't pump money into this. Okay, there are times and places for these things. Understand where they are, but don't support it in the AAA games. Otherwise, it's gonna get worse. All right, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. So I'm going to end this video right here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this very divisive issue in our industry. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, the Will Dogs Games and Wrestling YouTube page on Facebook. And follow me on Twitter at the Will Dog. And I'll end this by saying, whatever your geek is, be sure, let your geek out.